All right. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying, Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who rule well and who taught me this truth. And shalom to you, sincere Akim, out there listening, learning, and pushing this truth. And with that being said, I'm going to jump straight into this video. Lord's willing is edifying. Okay. I got two videos that I wanted to share with the Akim. And I got a couple scriptures, and I'm going to go into Rakah Kwadash as usual. And like I said, Lord's willing is edifying. All right. So anyway, the first video that I wanted to pull is off of RT America. It's from yesterday. It's which was July 7th, 2019. Today is July 2nd, 2019. Year of Karagma, which is the Karagma is the RFID microchip. Okay, which is the mark of the beast. Okay. Anyway, with that being said, let's jump into the video, man. It's CIA. The title of the video, Salakia, is CIA behind Hong Kong protest. All right. So let's jump into this. It had a lot of me. I'm gonna be going in and out. You know me, Salakia already, brothers. Whenever the spirit, the Rakah Kwadash jumps on me, I might interject and might pull up some scriptures. I might play it all the way through. I'm not sure. But I watched both of these videos already, and I thought it was very edifying. Lord's will, you'll find it edifying also. All right. So like I said, off of RT America, is CIA behind Hong Kong protests. All right. Here we go. This is your buddy Rick Sanchez.
The complete reversal by the Trump administration is a huge win for China. The United States was going to levy some $34 billion in imports from China starting this week on the 6th. And Trump had threatened another $400 billion, apparently on top of that. China got what it wants, and by the way, Wall Street also got what it wanted. This story, as you might expect, is barely getting any coverage because Mr. Trump, in an apparent attempt to shift the media's attention away from the China reversal, did something quite interesting yesterday.
And real quick, that's the bread and circus, because like we always bring out, this is nothing more than America, which is Babylon the Great, okay, which is that whore that sitteth upon many waters, and the waters are people, okay. But anyway, the whore, Salak, I completely lost my train of thought just now, Salak. Yeah, how about you? Let me back up what he said just now, Salak. Yeah.
The media's attention away.
Okay, Khan Salakia, the bread and circus. That's what I was going to get into. You know, it's no more than the bread and circus, man. That's what he does. The distractions, okay, the so-called fake news, and the he uses celebrities. They use athletes, anything to distract you from the truth. You know, that's one of the devil's tools, man. One of his main tools, you know, is deception. You know, the sleight of hand. You know, that's what Hollywood is about. You know, magic. You know, a lot of times he'll put things in your face and then pull it away. You know, like that's how you do a good magic trick. You show them it. You got to show them it, and then you got to when they're not looking, do some shit in the background. You know, like some Wizard of Oz type shit. You know, and like I said, that's the same thing that they did in the Roman Empire. While the Roman Empire was spread thin, and was fighting all types of war, while it was falling, while it was infighting, Satan divided against Satan, what did they do? They had the Roman Colosseums filled, packed with gladiators, and anyway, I ain't even gonna go to that, but the gladiators, that was us, man, that was our people, man, Israel, slaves, but anyway, let me back up so we can get back. But that's what they're doing, man. Bread and circus, distractions, fake news. That's why you got to be diligent,
As you might expect, is barely getting any coverage because Mr. Trump, Wall Street also got what it wanted. This story, as you might expect, is barely getting any coverage because
bread and circus.
Mr. Trump, in an apparent attempt to shift the media's attention away from the China reversal, did something quite interesting yesterday. Some would say maybe really smart. He showed up at the DMZ and crossed over into North Korea and the media bought it, swallowed it, hook, line, and sinker.
Hey, but the elect didn't. You said the scripture said if it were possible, you might fool the elect, but it's not possible. All right. And like the scripture said, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. And like I said, one of his devices, like I just brought up, was the bread and circus, because this is the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Okay. And the scriptures also say, we know it. That's why you're supposed to meditate on the scriptures. That's the wisdom. That's your wisdom and knowledge in the sight of the nations, man. It's going to be your wisdom and stability. In the horrible times that's about to befall this place, man. Which is Jacob's trouble. Okay. But if you meditate on the scriptures, and you're studying, you should know that the scriptures say when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction shall fall upon them as a woman in travail, okay? So we're not ignorant, man. We know what's up, okay? And we watching the news, okay? Rick Sanchez don't really, he know a little bit, but he don't really know what's going on. The prophets do, starting from elder apostles to her on down, okay? The men of great millstone.
Really smart. He showed up at the DMZ and crossed over into North Korea, and the media bought it, swallowed it, hook, line, and sinker. You'd think something like the world had changed or something. So if you tune into any U.S. network today, you're going to see that story, that story, that story, and only that story. That's it. That's all you're going to see. It's 24 hours of just that, right? Is it media manipulation at its absolute best? Why? Well, it denies the China victory, right? U.S. reporters don't want to tell you that China just scored a huge win over.
And for those that don't know, I do my videos for most of the Akim that watch my video, we know already. But for those that don't know, in the scriptures, the biblical name for China, the Chinese people, is going to be Moab, which I got some scriptures on Moab, okay? But just keep that in mind. China is Moab, okay? Salakia.
Absolute best. Why? Well, it denies the China victory, right?
Moab.
U.S. reporters don't want to tell you that China just scored a huge win over the United States.
And obviously, like we said, the United States is Babylon the Great, which is ran by Esau Edom, okay, which is the so-called white man, okay? So keep those biblical names in mind for the scriptures that I'm going to pull for those of you that don't, that are just learning, Moab are the Chinese, and Edom are the so-called white man. Is the so-called white man, and of course, we are the Israelites, Jacob. The so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, so-called Hispanics, Latinos, and the confusion of faces, because we're scattered amongst the four corners of the world, man. We mingled our seed, man. So if your father goes back to one of the 12 tribes, you would then, even if you look like another nation, if you can receive this truth, if you can understand it, if the Lord is supping with you, if it makes sense, more than likely you are an Israelite, man. Okay? No matter what you look like, because we're scattered, man. We're as the sands of the sea, okay? But anyway, back to the video. Salakia. Salak.
It overcovers a meeting which may not amount to anything at all. And then there's another story that the mainstream media may be misreporting as well. And I want to play something for you. This is interesting. Listen here. This is George Galloway. He was on this morning with my colleague, Manila Chan, who does a fabulous job on In Question, by the way. Listen to what he is suggesting here about who's really pulling the strings of these protesters.
Shalaki, who's really behind things? Because we know, like I said, the scriptures say that there's going to be a war. Which is what we're looking for. The third woe. Okay, the third world's war. The second will pass. The third will cometh quickly. All right, but we know ultimately it's being all orchestrated by the Rothschilds, man, the Illuminati. Okay, the secret council, the noblemen. Okay, the dukes of Edom. Okay, all right. Those are who really orchestrates wars, man. You can go do research on that, man. The synagogue of Satan, man. How they fund both sides, because ultimately they want to establish a new world order, a one world government. Okay, all right? Because they want to be like the Most High, and that's why, like I said earlier, in the beginning of the video, I brought up the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, man. All right, that's going to be implemented worldwide, man. And if you take that RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, the punishment for that shit is death, man. Okay. Anyway, Salakia.
I have no doubt that there are foreign hands in this trouble. I see this as another of these color-coded revolutions, so-called, that took place in the Ukraine and in Georgia and many other places.
You see them going on all around, uproars of the people, like Yahushua said in Matthew chapter 24. And also, like it says in 2nd Ezra, sedition amongst men, you know. You see that starting to take place, but what? It's all being orchestrated by the wicked elite, man, okay? Because they have an agenda, okay? You can reference the Georgia Guidestones, man. They got to get the population down, all right? And plus, they know that they see the prophets, okay? They see us prophesying. They know Yahushua is on his way, man. Okay? They know they have but a short time. Okay? So the devil, which is Esau, Edom, okay? You know, that's the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan is Esau, Edom, man. Okay? They're gonna come down with great wrath because they know they got but a short time. All right?
It was actually even longer, but I want to talk about that in a little bit. But first, I want to introduce our guests here. Joining us are two of the best when it comes to this story in particular. NRS correspondent Michelle Greenstein has been all over the China-U.S. story for months now and has done really, I mean, cover your ears, groundbreaking reporting. She really has. Also, Boom Bust host, thank you, you can get him down now. Also, Boom Bust host Christy Alley, knows the business, probably as well as anybody out there when it comes to the business side of this conversation that we're about to have. So, Michelle, let me begin with you and the Galloway comments we heard a little while ago. What he seems to be saying is that what's going on in Hong Kong may not actually be what it appears to be, that there's something behind this, something pushing, someone perhaps with an agenda. Is he right?
Yes, you could certainly say he's right, and this is an element of the Hong Kong protests that are not being so covered in the Western corporate press. Yeah. No surprise there. So I want to show you something. I want to show you the organizers of these anti-extradition law. They call themselves the Civil Human Rights Front, and I want to show you the members of the organizations of the Civil Human Rights Front. So
these are the protesters.
That's right, the organizers of these protesters. Okay. Not all of the protesters are part of these groups, but these are the organizers. We've got the Hong Kong Institute of Human Resource Management. We've got the Hong Kong Confederation of Trade Unions, as well as a number of others.
And like we always go into, like how we say America is the whore, which is Babylon the Great. I didn't even get into the scriptures yet, but don't worry, I got some scripts. This video could tell is gonna be long, Salakia for that. Like I said, Lord's willing, it's edifying, and I'm doing my job. You know, as long as I reach one person, that's all I care about, man. Fuck you 2/3, fuck you scoffers, man. The word of the Lord doesn't go out void. It shall accomplish that which it's supposed to, man, you know? Anyway, like we always go into, America is the rebirth of the Roman Empire, like I keep saying, and it's Babylon the Great, the whore, okay? And the whore rides upon the beast, right? The beast is a system, right? And this beast system is is a compromise made up of composed of EU and NATO and the EU. NATO is their military might. You know, that's how they push their forces through NATO. Push their military might is through NATO, and also their financial might. You know, their economic might and stuff like that through EU, right? And what else? What does the whore, the beast do? She spreads her, she makes the nations drunk off of her wine, right? Her Babylon juice, okay? Right? Because Babylon is a golden cup in the Lord's hand, right? You know? And it said that she makes the nations drunk off of her wine, right? And what's in that cup? Her philosophies, all right? The ways of life, okay? And chiefly that's, her democracy, you know? That's mainly how she pushes shit, man. That's how she, and you see, that's how she infiltrates these countries and these cultures and these societies, if you can receive it. She does that through her democracy and her corporations. Okay, that's how she everywhere she conquers, she establishes democracy, or she tries to anyway, and she leaves her bases, just like Rome did. All right, you had to get down and lay down when you was in the Roman Empire, man. Or you'd be utterly destroyed, man. And what did Rome do? Just like when the Romans sacked Jerusalem, right? Well, before they sacked it in 70 AD, when they were occupying Jerusalem, what did they do? They sent like Pontius Pilate, man. They sent people, rulers. You know, that's what they do. They put up, they like for example, Venezuela. They want to prime example, Venezuela. They're trying to establish their democracy. Even though it's so-called Venezuela is already a so-called democratic country, because what they had elections, so-called, right? Even though it was rigged, probably just like our elections are rigged. See the hypocrisy, right? The man threw an election and he won. The other people decided not to come out and vote. So hey, it is what it is. But anyway, they tried to infiltrate through their democracy with Juan Guaido. The fucking Asherite Obama, man. Juan Guaido, that's his name. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, that's what's in that cup. That's how the whore spreads its fucking bullshit. The Babylon Jews, democracy, man, and its corporations. It leaves its McDonald's, its Monsantos and all this shit, man. It's corporations. That's how the whore really transgresses, man. Okay? But the nations are hip to it, man. It's shameful spewing on your glory, man. They see your track record, They're onto you, man. You like a one-trick pony, as Zachariah said, man. You do the same shit over and over. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You do your proxy wars, you know what I'm saying? You send your little, like with the uproars of the people, going back to that. Like this is going into you, or you organized it, man. You're behind it, and ultimately, like I said, it's Esau, Edom, the nobles, the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, the Kennedys, the DuPonts, the ruling elite. The I believe it's 15 families, man, and best believe they all are Amalekites, man, so-called Jews. All right, the chief house of Edom. All right, that's who's behind it. All right, not the CIA. I mean, it is the CIA, but they just do everybody just working for them, man. They're the puppet masters, okay? Salakia. But anyway, let me, me, I be blibbity blabbing, like I said. But Salakia for that, man.
And I want to show you the members of the organizations of the Civil Human Rights Front. So
these are the protesters.
That's right, the organizers of these protesters,
okay.
Not all of the
so
protesters.
not the people that are protesting, the organizers, just like the Black Lives Matter and all these Antifa and all these so-called movements. What was another one? Occupy Wall Street. They're all organized by so-called Jews, man. The wicked elite. They're all behind it, man, because they have an agenda. Order out of chaos. Okay, but as the scripture said, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right.
Are part of these groups, but these are the organizers. We've got the Hong Kong Institute of Human Resource Management. We've got the Hong Kong Confederation of Trade Unions, as well as a number of others. Now, what do all of these organizations that you see listed here have in common?
Tell me.
They're all taking money, and they've all worked with an organization called the National Endowment for Democracy. They've all received funding from the
Salakia. Same thing with these so-called fake Hebrew Israelite groups, man, that are funded with the 501c3 charter, man. They've all taken funds, okay? They've all taken. So we ain't with that, man. We don't need no funds. We don't need no. We going out in the highways and the byways, and we bidding each other. We don't want your funds, man. We want you to repent, and push this truth, okay? A gift destroyeth the heart, man, okay? And that's a lot of the reasons why they don't push the name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who you ignorantly call God. God just means power, okay? And he's the supreme power, okay? Yahweh, okay? And his son is Yahweh Shai, okay? Who you ignorantly call Christ, Jesus Christ, okay? His name is Yahweh Shai, all right? And that's why they don't push those names, because what? They've been given gifts, that 501c3 charter, okay? just like these people, man. Okay? And that's why a lot of them don't push the RFID microchip. Okay? Because they were told not to. It's clear as day that the RFID microchip is the mark of the beast, man. And it's drastically approaching, man. The day that it shall be made mandatory worldwide to try the world.
These organizations that you see listed here have in common.
Tell me.
They're all taking money and they've all worked with an organization called the National Endowment for Democracy. They've all received funding from this organization. Now, the National Endowment for Democracy has been funding groups in Hong Kong. This goes back to the 90s, but just in the last year, the Hong Kong Institute for Human Resource Management, which is the first thing that you saw on your list there moments ago, got $90,000 in just 1 year, in just 2018, from the National Endowment for Democracy.
Would you tell us, so our viewers can understand, who the hell is the National Endowment for Democracy? Who are these people?
That's right. So who is this NGO funding these protesters, right? Great question. I'm so glad you asked. So let's listen to Carl Gershman. Here's what he had to say. He was actually the president of the National Endowment for Democracy at the time he said this. He said, "It would be terrible for democratic groups around the world to be seen as subsidized by the CIA. We saw that in the 60s, and that's why it's been discontinued. That's why the endowment was created." So here we have this NGO that's been created to, in a sense, do the CIA's work overtly. And let's hear it from Alan Weinstein, who actually helped draft the legislation to create the NED. Here's how he put it. He put it a bit simpler. He said, "A lot of what we do today was done covertly 25 years ago by the CIA."
Exactly. They're doing the same shit, man. No new one-trick pony, man. They do the same thing over and over, man. And like I said, ultimately, the ones who was really behind it are the wicked elite, man. The 15 families, like I said, and the chief, the chief house of the Dukes of Edom, which is Amalek, the chief family is the Rothschilds, man. Jacob Rothschild and all of them, okay? Evelyn Rothschild, the Rothschilds, man, okay? Okay?
So you don't have to take it from me. You can take it from these men who are involved from the ground up at the National Endowment for Democracy. Here they are saying that this is, in a sense, a front for the CIA itself. And as you know, the CIA loves funding opposition groups.
Well, but, a lot of Americans don't know this, right? I mean, you and I this weekend were texting back and forth about the fact that just as back in 2009, the United States actually perpetrated a coup in Honduras,
right?
The country where we're having all these problems now with all these immigrants coming.
That's right.
The Obama administration, and it was led by none other than Hillary Clinton, right?
That's
so
right.
That's kind of,
and that's just
we do this.
Many right-wing coups that the U.S. has supported in the past. Of course, the National Endowment for Democracy was involved in Honduras as well, though. That's a good.
All right, so as you see, man, that's what they do. They fund both sides, man. And so the uproars of the people, I got another video here that I want to show, but let me jump into some scripts, man, because I ain't bring no scripts out yet. What do I want to start with? Actually, let me play this one more video, then I get the scriptures, Salakia. So I can just roll through the scriptures and shut it down. Because like I said, this was about China. China really won up in America, but they're not covering it, man. Okay, they're not covering it. They're using the bread and circus, the bullshit of the meeting with Kim Jong-un, to distract the people. When America's taking L's left and right, man. Okay, America's becoming weak. All right, and the weak nations are becoming strong, and they bucking up against her. Okay. So anyway, RT America, okay, this one's off from yesterday also, July 1st, 2019, like I said today, July 2nd, 2019, year of Karagma. This is off of RT America. It says, Trump, U.S. lose trade war with China. And remember, we've always said trade wars lead to real wars. And as you can see, if this was a real war, America would be losing, okay? And like we always go into, the elders always go into, America's losing its hegemony, man, its power, okay? It's going down like lightning, man, all right? So anyway, let's jump into this video and then jump into the scriptures and shut it down. Like I said, your boy Rick Sanchez again, all right?
And from the national headquarters of RT America in our nation's capital, hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Sanchez. So, Tonight, our country, the United States of America, is waving the white flag in its ongoing trade war with China. After months of trying to show China who's really the boss, this morning we found out. And the boss is China. Look, in any negotiation, if you come on too strong, the other side can simply say, fine, we're going to walk away.
And that's Obadiah. That's how you know this is talking about Esau Edom, okay? His pride, like Isaiah said, the terribleness, man. Thy terribleness have deceived thee. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, man. All right?
We're taking all of our chips with us. We're done, period. That's kind of what China did, right? So what China was really saying is, we can wait this out. We can wait this out as long as you want. But actually, you know what China did? They did one better. It went out and it signed a very public deal with Russia and about 5 other nations. You saw us report this right here.
Salakia, now I'm gonna hit one scripture and jump back in the video. All right, because I you know, we must. I quoted them, but we must bring out scriptures, man. Let Yahweh Bashem Yahushai speak, man. This isn't my words. This does say Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. All right. Anyway, this is Revelations 17 and 15, all right? And like I said, let me see, I'm going to start there. This is going into the beast, but I don't want to make this video too long, man. I'm going to go straight to the point. Revelation 17 and 15, like I said, this is going into the beast, right? Which is NATO and the EU, and America the whore, which is Babylon the Great. And like I said, that sitteth upon many waters. Well, it's going to explain it. Anyway, Revelation 17 and 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, which is what? Babylon the Great, which is America, okay, are peoples, all right, and multitudes and nations and tongues, okay, because what? It spreads its democracy all over the goddamn place. It spreads its corporations. And also, how can we leave out the chief tool of the damn Amalekite, all right? You damn, is usury, right? So what do they use? The central banking system, all right? That's how they want to cripple everybody. And how are they doing that? Through, like I said, through EU, all right? NATO's the military, EU's the financial, all right? And I didn't learn this on my own. They're throwing it out there, man. You know, you got to be taught this thing, man. You don't just wake up on your own. You know, there's order to things, man. And that's why we start off giving double honors to. Well, first of all, you give praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for opening up our eyes and supping with us, man, and pulling us out of this filthy ass dark place, man. And then you have to be taught this thing by men. So we give double honors to the apostles, man. All right, okay. Ain't nothing about no goddamn man pleasing. It's order and being humble and humility, all right, and being repentful. And listening and obeying, being obedient, okay? It said it's better to obey than to give the sacrifice of fools, okay? But anyway, and why the hell wouldn't you push this truth, Salakia? I mean, what the hell else is there to do, man? You know? Anyway, it says Revelation 17 and 15, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues. All right? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, okay? And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's her allies, okay? They're going to turn on the whore, and they're going to shoot missiles on this place, okay? Thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's the lake of fire, okay? And if you receive that mark of the beast, that RFID microchip, you will take part in this, man. You know, you might not even make it here, man. You might die in a famine. You know, who knows, man? Okay, but hey, you definitely slated for destruction if you take that RFID microchip, man. Okay. Anyway, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts, and your heart is your mind, your mind, to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over kings of the earth. Okay? And Job 9:24 tells you the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, which is who? Esau, Edom. And what's the chief city of Esau, Edom? America. All right? And what's the chief house? Amalekite. And what's the chief place of Amalekite? Israel. Okay? So it makes sense, man. And America and Israel are one. They're in cahoots, man. Okay? And Israel is the one, you so-called Jews are the ones that's starting all this shit. Okay? Because you're greedy. Your desire is as hell. All right? Yeah, let's get back in the video. All right? And bang the scriptures out. It's a lot. Let me backtrack a little bit.
Really saying is, we can wait this out. We can wait this out as long as you want. But actually, you know what China did? They did one better. It went out and it signed a very public deal with Russia and about 5 other nations. You saw us report this right here.
It's a lot. I'm gonna bring one more out since I had it pulled up already. Might as well. Ezekiel. This is because like I said in Revelation, the allies are gonna turn on the whore. All right. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, like I said, these aren't our words, man. You know, this was written long time ago, man. All right. We're just breaking it down to you, man. All right. Revealing the deep dark parables of the deep dark sayings in the scriptures, man. What did it say? Therein within was written lamentations and woes, man. All right. It says, and the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, okay, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, okay, and like we say, that's Russia, okay, because that's who's in that land right now, as you can see. It says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog. Those are the Russians, okay, all right, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them. All right? Meaning tell them this is going to happen before it happens. Okay? And that's what we're doing. All right? Starting from the head apostle, Elder Tahar on down. Okay? It says, and say thus, and say, Slakia, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Tushek and Slakia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Okay? That's talking about that Soviet Union, you know, that Cold War, bringing them back into that old Russia, bringing Russia back into that Cold War Soviet Union spirit, okay? And I will bring thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, okay? This is the main point here, though. Well, all of it's the main point. But Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. Salakia, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. All of them with shield and helmet. So he's gathering them all for war. Okay. Gomer and all his bands. The house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands. And many people with thee. All right. Moab is going to be with them. Okay. It's going to be Moab, Iran. You know, gonna be all of them, okay? Not all of them, but you know, you get the idea, all right? It says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself." Slakia. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And that's what you see Russia doing. There was a video on RT. It said that the S-400s, the Russian missile defense things, they're at an all-time high, man. They selling like hotcakes, okay? That's Russia, Gog and Magog, the Meshech and Tubal, being a guard unto the allies, man, okay? That are going to turn on this place and shoot missiles on this place, okay? All right? But anyway, with that being said, let's jump back into the video. Salak, I know this is going to be a long one, man. But hopefully it's edifying, all right? That's all that matters. Trump U.S. lose trade war with China, right? Off of RT. Let's go.
And we told you what that, when it happened, might lead to, right? So while Mr. Trump was going around telling everybody in the world to stay away from doing any business with Huawei, Huawei sales actually seem to be booming, especially in the area of 5G technology.
Because I brought up earlier, they got an agenda, all right? And it's ultimately, the war is just bullshit, man. That's chess. That's just a means to the end, all right? Ultimately, they want this place chipped. Order out of chaos, okay? The war, the famine, the uproar, Jacob's trouble, they want it, all right? They're going to unleash all type of pestilence, all type of diseases. You know, they may call, we already, the elders already said they're probably going to do false flag attacks. You know, they already demonized us. They're going to really demonize us. You know, all type of hell about to befall this place. But it's ultimately because of the wicked elite, man. Ultimately the nobles, man. They have the Illuminati. They have an agenda, and that 5G plays a major role, major key part. That's why you see a bunch of 5G towers popping up all over the place, man. They need a clean signal in order for this, because we're going cashless, man. That's the whole point of the RFID microchip. All right, everyone's going to be chipped, and they're going to be able to track you. You're not going to be able to buy or sell without it, okay? But they need the infrastructure to be set up. You see, everything is lining up, just like Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai said. That's why you got to measure the time diligently within itself. Everything is lining up. The war is lining up. The infrastructure is lining up. Okay, the people are lining up. Okay, the people are starting to rise up. The weather, like the Lord said, pestilences, tempests, and earthquakes in diverse places. The weather's all out of whack, okay? Everything the Lord said.
Which we also reported on right here earlier last week. And then there's this. And then there's this. Stay with me here. Here at home, while all this was going on, U.S. companies were screaming bloody hell as they discovered that not doing business with China would cut into their revenues, some by as much as 40%.
So the grinding is ceasing. Like I said, everything is lining up. Just like the Lord said. All right? He's going to come as a thief in the night, man. You know?
Earlier last week. And then there's this. And then there's this. Actually seemed to be booming, especially in the area. You saw us report this right here. And we told you what that, when it happened, might lead to, right? So while Mr. Trump was going around telling everybody in the world to stay away from doing any business with Huawei, Huawei sales actually seem to be booming, especially in the area of 5G technology, which we also reported on right here earlier last week. And then there's this. And then there's this. Stay with me here. Here at home, while all this was going on, U.S. companies were screaming bloody hell as they discovered that not doing business with China would cut into their revenues, some by as much as 40%. So then on Wall Street, large cap internet and chip stocks started to suddenly go down. They started to decline, right, in the midst of all this stuff. And so did investment banks who had some big time exposure in China. So everybody seemed to be getting the message, right? Except Trump and the U.S. media. All throughout this. Remember, we were reporting on all of this as it was going down, step by step. But this morning, fresh off of his visit with world leaders in Osaka, all of whom were either critical or enjoying the U.S.'s economic freefall during all of this, the President of the United States capitulated. And seemed to call the whole thing off. Mr. Trump, who campaigned on getting tough on China and was actually satirized doing so on programs like Saturday Night Live, remember, China, is now retreating in two ways, really. He's calling off the restrictions on companies who do business with China, and he's also blocking any further restrictions, including those that White House insiders had told reporters were forthcoming. However, this momentous economic victory for China is not exactly the headline that you would expect to be seeing all over the United States. In fact, I got to tell you, it's hardly being covered. What is making headlines, in fact, is the embarrassment that Beijing must be feeling from these pictures that have been coming out of Hong Kong today. Have you seen this? Let's go to the video.
Uproars of the people over there, uproars of the people, and as the other video showed, who's really behind it, who the organizers are the CIA, which is America, which is really you wicked elites, you Edomites, man, you Rothschilds, man. All right, they're the puppet masters. All right. I want to show you something also before I get into the video, back into the scriptures. Watch the graffiti that's written on the they wrote something. Watch what language is written in, to let you know that it probably is organized by America. Because remember, this is China. Uproars of the people in China, right?
This is really a sea of protesters continuing to battle it out with police as it only intensified throughout the day. And it seemed to suggest that they prefer to go back to the old ways and want China's extradition policy officially revised. But, you know, I want to switch to another picture now, because what may be even the toughest pill of all for Beijing to swallow is watching this here. See this? These are protesters actually breaking into the Parliament building. And they actually got in. See some of them getting inside the building? This is them inside the Parliament. Can you imagine? And then they went in and they wrote graffiti and they defaced it with scribblings. They did eventually leave as police asked them to do so, threatening to use tear gas. But can you imagine what would have happened if they would have held their ground, creating what would have been an international showdown in Beijing, saying there in Hong Kong at the Parliament, we're not leaving? Good gosh. What a day, huh? What a weekend. So here's what we're going to bring you tonight. What's next for the Trump administration and the United States?
So look, I thought they had it might be later on in the video, but it don't matter. They had scribbled stuff in English, man. Anyway, let me it's already 42 minutes, man. Got a bunch of scriptures still. So we read that. So let me just try to bang them out. All right. Obadiah 1:6. It says, How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? It says, All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee, your allies, okay, have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Okay? And that's why, you know, his counsel, he's a double-minded man. Threatening to do this and threatening to do that, and sanctioning this and sanctioning that, lifting sanctions, putting them back on. He looks crazy, man. Late night tweets, all right? There's no understanding in him. All right, and that he's like, but the Lord said He was going to make him stagger as a drunken man. You know, the Lord said that. All right, it says, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman, and we know Teman represents the Germans, right? Because a lot of the scientists came out of Germany, right? Out of Nazi Germany, all right? Anyway, and thy might, a lot of that technology is Nazi. A lot of technology is Nazi technology. With those bombs, even with chemo, a lot of technology came out of Germany, Nazi Germany. It says, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that everyone, not some, but everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All right? And like I said, Jacob are the Israelites, all right? And Esau is the so-called white man. Anyway, because remember earlier I brought up, remember Moab and Edom, all right? So this is Psalms. We're gonna get this in we're gonna look this up in a blue letter, right? But this is Psalms 60 and 8, straight to the point. It says Moab, which are the Chinese, right? Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia, triumph thou because of me. All right. Who will bring me into the strong city? All right, which is Babylon the Great. It says, who will lead me into Edom? And that's America's Edom. All right. All right. It says, will not thou, O Yahweh, which will that now, Shlaki, will not thou, O Yahweh, which has cast us off, right? And thou, O Yahweh, which didst not go without our armies, give us help from trouble? Then who troubled us? It said it's a righteous thing to recompense those that trouble you. Who troubled us, okay? It says, for vain is the help of man, right? Because it said what? No man shall buy us. He said he was going to lead us into Egypt again with ships, right? And no man shall buy you, right? The only one that was going to redeem us was Yahushua. And Yahushua said he's not going to return as a man. He said, I shall not meet thee as a man. It says, know ye not that you are bought with a price, and that is your reasonable service? So he's the one that's going to help us, all right? All right? Anyway, it says, through Yahweh we shall do valiantly. Exactly. It says, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies, all right? And who are our enemies? Our enemies are all the other nations, man, because all the other nations had us in captivity, but chiefly Esau, Edom, all right? Anyway, let's look this up right quick. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe, right? Let's look at this. Let's look this up to get a little bit more understanding. I thought this was interesting. Okay, so Moab, we know are the so the Chinese, so-called Chinese people. Let's see, was it washpot? I had looked something up. I forgot what it was. Okay, washpot. Khan. So this is a washpot, right? This is what Moab is, right? Because remember, I brought out in Ezekiel that he was going to put Ezekiel 4, verse 4, I believe, right? It said Gog and Magog, right? It was talking about Russia, right? But notice it didn't mention Moab, right? It didn't mention Moab. But we know this verse here said, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, right? Right? It says, in all of them holding swords, right? But anyway, check this out, right? When I looked up washpot, what it said about washpot. Look at what it said about washpot. Washpot, which is H5518. I'll let you hear it.
Strong's H5518. Seer.
All right. It says pot, cauldron, thorns, washpot, pans, fish hooks. See, hooks. You see, pot, household utensil, pot of temple, thorn, hook, briar, thorns, hooks. Okay, you see, you see, hooks. Just like he said with Obadiah. I mean, with Gog and Magog, because Gog and Magog is going to be a defense unto them. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, and all of them. So it's more people, because the allies are going to turn on America. You see? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. You see, her allies, they're going to turn on her, all right? And part of them are going to be, is going to be Moab, because Moab is what? The washpot, the hook. You know, he's going to put the hook in America and eat him, if you could receive it, right? I just thought that was interesting. See, Moab is my washpot, the hook over Edom. Will I, see? And it says, will I cast out my shoe, right? And when you look up the word shoe, that go into footstool, right? Because what, the earth is the Lord's footstool. I had it in You see, Isaiah 66 and 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house? Where is the house that ye build unto me, and where is the place of my rest? Lamentations 2 and 1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel. All right, and remember not his footstool in the day of his anger. And the earth is his footstool. But right now, what? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? So you see, it said, how hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud of his anger? Who? What? He put the Edomites over us, the bases of men. You see, and remember not his footstool in the day of his anger. Okay, which is the Edomites. All right. So let me go back to this. I'll show you. Like I said, prove my point right here. Right when I looked up footstool. I mean shoe. This is shoe from This is shoe from the washpot. Okay, Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Right. So look at what this says here. H5275.
Strong's H5275. Na'al.
All right. So it says shoe. Dries shod, shoe latchet. That's not what a sandal, shoe, right? But look at what it says down here when I gleamed a little bit more. All right. It says in transferring a domain, it was customarily Salaki. In transferring a domain, it was customary symbolically to deliver a shoe, as in the Middle Ages a glove. Hence, the casting down a shoe upon any country was a symbol of taking possession, right? And what did the Lord say, right? He said, how hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. Okay? So Moab is his washpot, right? You see? It says, hence the casting down a shoe upon any country was a symbol of taking possession. It says, so then it quote has a Psalm 60 and 10. Upon Edom will I cast down my shoe. So he's going to take possession, because right now Job 9 and 24 told you that the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. And who's the master judge, the head judge, the supreme judge? Yahushua. Well, it's really Yahweh, but he gave the reins to his son Yahushua, who you ignorantly call Christ. So he's coming back to take possession of Edom, right? You see what I'm saying? You see? It says, upon Edom will I cast down my shoe. I will take possession of it. I will claim it as my own. Ooh. You see? It says, it's used for anything of very little value, and Esau is very little. All right? The nations are counted as nothing. So you can imagine Esau, Edom. Let me try to bang these out. Quick. Right? Hold on, I don't want to get that yet. Okay, yeah. I'll get this first. This is 2nd Ezra. I believe it's chapter 6, verse. I'll get straight to the point. 6 and 8. 2nd Ezra 6 and 8. All right. Yep. 2nd Ezra 6 and 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau, that's referencing Genesis, okay? For Esau is the end of the world, all right? But we know the end of the world means the end of the age, the end of an empire, the end of a rulership, okay? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob, Yasharallah, is the beginning of it that followeth, okay? So that's what he's saying, all right? Moab is the washpot. He's going to use Moab to along with Gog and Magog, because he's going to be a guard unto them. You see, it's all connected. That's what it means. Washpot, the hook. You see. So that's big news, man. That what Rick Sanchez is bringing up. You see. I got another scripture. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 8. All right. Ecclesiasticus 10:8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. And how was this land, how was this whole world taken over? By this, unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. Matter of fact, starting from Alexander the Greek, okay, Alexander the Conqueror. The scripture Maccabees tells you that evils were multiplied when he came into power, man, and then he broke up his kingdom into to the different dukes, man. All right, so it says because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Okay, you see. And that's what happened. But we're gonna have, it's gonna be brought back to Jacob, man. All right, and righteousness is gonna rule. Okay, quick and bang them out. Almost done. It says Psalms 108:9. It says Moab is my washpot. Remember, we brought out Psalm 60. All right, that's what this was. Salakia. Psalm 60:8. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia, triumph thou because of me. All right. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? All right. Moab is with Gog and Magog, Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, Gomer and all his bands. You see, it's all connected. All right. Salakia. But anyway, that was Psalm 60:8. Right. It says, though through Yahweh we shall do valiantly. You see, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. Khan. Anyway, but this one is Psalms 108:9. All right. It says it a little bit differently. All right. It says, Moab, Psalms 108:9. Moab is my washpot. All right. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. All right. Meaning he's going to take dominion back. All right. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Will not thou, O Yahweh, who has cast us off, and will not thou, O Yahweh, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through Yahweh, it's just I didn't read. It's actually the exact same scripture, so I thought it read differently. To tread down our enemies. Yeah, it's the same. So it's the same account. All right. So anyway, for that. Anyway, Zephaniah 3:8. All right, I'm gonna close it on this one, because like I said, it says, through Yahweh we shall do valiantly. Okay, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. All right, like I said. So I'm gonna close it with this one, Zephaniah 3:8. It says, let me see. I'm sorry, 3:8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. All right. For my determination is to gather the nations, all right, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, which is righteous anger, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy, all right. And like I said in Revelations, that's what you're seeing. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right. And like I said, you can see that's what times we're in. All right. All right. Anyway, hopefully that was edifying. Hopefully, I got my point across. Salakia, I know it's long, but Lord's willing, it was edifying. But anyway, with that being said, like I always say, we almost out of here. Keep pushing. Shalom.